large geological crater structure that Darwin spent quite some time studying, and we're going to try to go up as far as we can into the interior of this crater.
It's likely that Darwin would have come down that saddle, and you see how there's a kind of a delta. He was so disappointed, he ran down and tasted the water and found it briny, and complained because they were hoping, of course, for fresh water.
The areas around the lagoon resemble a primordial soup. I think that's the best way we can describe it.
The volcanic activity of the Galapagos Archipelago is a wonderful example of how new land is added to our planet.
This is just such an incredible place for these plants. It's the most barren, stark, dry, hot lava flow you could imagine in your life. And there's this plethora of incredible plants.
What Darwin, I think, began to appreciate here is that life was given here a new chance. A new experiment in life began on these islands.
Charles Darwin collected for 2 days on this island, and after he had begun his collections, he wrote in his diary, "I wonder what center of creation the organized beings of this archipelago will eventually prove to come from." And we know from that expression, center of creation, that he was a creationist at the time that he was in the archipelago and on this island. And of course, things started to change as he began to collect more and more specimens from the Galapagos Archipelago.
Here's some beautiful layering this is just absolutely gorgeous sea cliff here. Oh, this is gorgeous.
Looks like a medium ground finch.
This is just a great finchy place. 4 and 5 in the same branch.
The Galapagos Islands are famous for what is known as Darwin's finches. They're one of the best-known cases of evolution in action. When Darwin first came across the tortoises from this particular island, he thought they'd probably been introduced by buccaneers from, for example, the Indian Islands. So he and the Beagle crew merrily ate their way through the scientific evidence that was going to revolutionize the history of science once Darwin finally realized that each island had a separate species or subspecies of Galapagos tortoise.
This is a fun little lady. This is one of the 2 endemic scorpions from the Galapagos. This is the yellow scorpion.
1 out of 3 plants here grows nowhere else in the world. 1 out of 3 plants here is unique to the Galapagos.
Congratulations, partner.
Woohoo!
Good job, baby.
You got it.
Darwin's got nothing on you. What I always associate with the bay here are the docking of some of the main tourist ships. What's so interesting to me today, though, is this little boat right here from Costa Rica called the Punta Arenas. And I was talking to one of the crew on the ship, and they said the boat was actually taken by the National Park because they were fishing for shark fin. The big question is how to find a balance between the human population and the plants and the animals of the place. For all of us on the expedition, this is a sad and disturbing sight. We're at a place called Jaboncillos on the island of Santiago, and we came here expecting to find a tall cloud forest, a proud and damp forest full of finches and vermilion flycatchers, tortoises and other things that the Galapagos Highlands are famous for. And we come here and we find scattered clumps of grass, heavily damaged goat pasture, and denuded hillsides that extend for miles and miles around.
This is a place where the goats have ripped all of the bark off of this tree. And it's the kind of thing that will ultimately kill the tree.
We've been trying to locate a crater that Darwin describes that's quite steep, and we found one that's a candidate, and to our delight we found tree ferns all on the inside of the crater, clearly inaccessible to the goats, so this is a real pleasure.
I came away from this experience with renewed hope that despite human impact, that the systems of Galapagos have enough resilience, enough resourcefulness, enough variation that the Galapagos will continue to be a living laboratory of evolution.
This whole expedition has really impressed me with the depth of Darwin's abilities in different branches of science. We had to assemble a whole team of people in different fields just to keep up with Darwin, in essence. We have a botanist, a geologist, an entomologist, an evolutionary biologist, a historian of science. We've needed all of these people just to understand what Darwin did. So one really does have a sense that Darwin bit off a big hunk of knowledge here, and it took him quite a while to digest it, and it's taken us a while to digest it too.